progress is being made, and I think I am within maybe a few hours. Really, it shouldn't take that long because guess what? All it is the exhaust. Kind of have the external wastegate hanging right there. Got the up pipe mocked up and whatnot, but I need to take off the wheel there so I can access the port right there. But getting underneath the car, you'll see, and if you follow me on Instagram too, the header is there. It's been extended on the driver's side. Clearly, you can't see that because I rewrapped it, so that's good to go. Gosh, I need to get a flashlight for you all, but we're all tightened up there. Even the oil cooler lines, which also you can't see from right there, those are all done up. Um, I've got the more difficult of the intercooler piping, and here I'll grab the flashlight for you. Got the more difficult of the intercooler piping going on. Kind of thankful that I decided to go with the full routing here, which I'll get to here in a bit as to why. But yep, so there you can see the header's all good to go. It's brilliant. And then I'm not sure if I ever mentioned anything, but this part right here used to tear the header, like it would scratch the header itself. But when I put the heat wrap on it, it would just rip it to shreds. So I decided to kind of take away the integrity a little bit of the metal, but overall that piece should be still fine. I mean, nothing else on it's touched up. I've had that bolt sitting in there for a few years, so that's kind of annoying, but whatever. The radiator fans, it's kind of annoying. I guess the bushing on the passenger side that the like peg sticks in kind of got jacked up, but that's that. The radiator hose. So I thought I was going to be able to, thought I was going to go with the pinch clamps after all these years. And let me just tell you that I did not go with those. So the brand new ones, they come like pinched, and I've never had brand new. Not even sure what you want to call them, but I'll call them, for lack of better terms, and I think it's one of the titles that I found online for them is the constant tension. There we go, constant tension clamps. So I thought I was going to use those, but I hit myself in the face. Yeah, it's right there. Hit myself in the face once. Kind of like hurt my thumb really bad. Thankfully, it didn't bruise, but overall, just horrible experience. Plus, somehow the hoses, so the radiator hoses I have are from AutoZone, so I guess they're a little bit thicker than what come from the factory because those hose clamps won't work, but that's fine. So got the worm clamps back on, got the worm clamps there too, and with these ones on the upper radiator hose, they were way too long, and now they kind of create a sharp edge, so I should probably file them down. But I've discovered some Milwaukee scissors, which I actually used to cut the stainless steel zip ties off of the header for the wrap that I had to take off. Seamless. Did it on the worm clamps just because I have super large worm clamps on here, and I obviously don't need all the extra stuff just like kind of tucked away underneath everything. So I trimmed those up a bit. But yeah, let's get to the blunders. So, like I continuously say, it's been so long since I've worked on this that it's difficult to know what everything is. Plus, it's just I never put it together myself the first time, and it's just been long in general since I have actually worked on this thing myself, which is kind of pathetic to say, but um, in terms of reliability, good on the other shop because they built a heck of a reliable track car. So anyway, going on to it. So what you'll see here, and these are parts I forgot, and the camera's going to tilt and whatnot. I'm not sure if it will automatically adjust, but you'll see that sensor right there. So that pressure sensor, I'm not sure if I've ever explained it before on camera, just because I never really took the camera out while I was at track, but that is a pressure sensor for the fuel pumps. So in the car, I have two Walbro 450s in the tank, and then I have three AEM 320s in the surge tank. And so 2 of those AEM 320s are running at all times. When the boost hits 10 psi on the last tune is when the third fuel pump kicked in. Not that I probably needed the extra fuel, but um, just there for safety and, not to starve the engine of any fuel. Plus, drinking 12 gallons in a 20-minute session is quite a bit. So that probably helped out. But anyway, I was really concerned because I had another plug or sensor that was plugged in right here, and I could not for the life of me figure out what it was. And I also have this, which I haven't traced back yet to see what it is, but I believe it attaches to whatever the MAF sensor used to be, because this is the intake air temperature sensor. So it goes under the throttle body for the most accurate reading before the air goes into the engine for a reading on that. So the most accurate calculations can be there. However, I have a plug in here now, but before the plug was in there, I had this guy right here. So this is another air intake or intake air temperature sensor. So that's the 3/8 NPT, and under the throttle body I have the 1/8 NPT. I do not recall why my previous builder and tuner decided to get rid of the or stop using the 3/8 and instead go with the 1/8, but he did, and it just confused me because, as I'll continuously say, it's been forever since I've worked on this, but it's also all the parts have been sitting in the garage. So had I done this quickly, I probably would have remembered that I never had a clip in there before. It was always just for the pressure sensor. So got that out of the way, and then I got kind of concerned. Sorry, gotta open the screen to make sure you guys can see this. I got kind of concerned with this because it's just kind of hanging there, and I have no idea what the heck the purpose of it was. And if you know anything about Subarus, you can tell that there are some bits and pieces missing, aka I don't have the secondary air system, so I don't have the air pump here, and I don't even know what the part is called anymore. I don't have it here, nor would it fit with all this craziness going on. The bad part is that some of these plugs were not wrapped off, and then I know I have a few. Yeah, there's a few examples that you probably can't see down there. Actually, that one that you see right there, that is electrical taped, so I know not to use that. That one, however, was not wrapped off, so when I noticed it, I was like, what the heck could that be? Because I have the NOx sensor plugged in, and I have the oil pressure sensor that is a gauge in the car, have that plugged in too. I couldn't figure out what the heck it was. Thankfully, though, in mysterious ways, not known to me, iWire has become a big reference for me. I've just been talking iWire with one of my buddies for a few days, and thankfully they have a item or a package that they sell with all the connectors, and they list the titles of them, and then they also give a link to what they are, so you can buy them individually. One of them happened to be for the TGV sensors that are down there. So there's the pump, I believe, and then there's something else. That is one of those clips, and so I don't have TGVs, so don't need that plug. I should probably wrap that up in some way and then mark it saying that it's no longer used. We'll see how long I go before I have to touch this the car again, but hopefully I keep to my wits and I conduct more maintenance, more in-depth maintenance, I should say, more often. So anyway, that is all that we have now. So with the header up, I had a little bit of trouble reaching down to tighten that fancy gizmo that I talked about a while ago. You can see the red and blue down there just a little bit. But it's quite tight down there, especially with the water pipe coming off of the head for the AOS, originally for the turbo, the factory turbo anyway. But it's in the way, and I couldn't remember what size a dash 10 was, and come to find out that it's a 1-inch, and so obviously a 3/4 inch and a 7/8 as well as a 15/16 won't fit on that. So I had to go buy another wrench because, go figure, an adjustable wrench is a bit too bulky to fit in that little small gap down there. So got the 1 incher, and I was able to tighten that down. Now I have the up pipe there just kind of hanging. What I'm about to do, and sorry, not going to film again, but like I said, this shouldn't take all that long, but just need to kind of get the up pipe to be a little bit more sturdy in place so that I can get the external wastegate, because this guy is a bugger and a half. I tried to put it on earlier and not cooperating. Probably would if the up pipe wasn't so moving around and making it difficult to get the external wastegate on its flange. So really all I have left to do is put the exhaust on there, put the last, sorry about that, put the exhaust on, last boost pipe, which is going to be right here, that goes into the turbo. I gotta put the turbo on, down pipe, external wastegate, and the mid pipe, fill with water and oil, and I should be good to go with this thing for startup. So I might wait until tomorrow morning to do that. Hopefully I can get all the mechanical stuff put together and, you know, filled with fluids and whatnot, and then it just sits for the night. I might also flush out the cooling system, because I know this has been open for a little while, so it's probably got dust going on in it. This had old water going on for quite a while, so I kind of want to clean that out. But just some little things. And also, as I don't know, an idea I was kind of thinking about, I might consider deleting the AC system. Well, we got a little bit further, so didn't get quite as far as I had wanted to tonight, simply because there's a few things that I was lacking. So just to, you know, lay it out. So I have the water in the garage, the other garage, but I don't have any water wetter, and I don't want water just kind of sitting in the engine. So excuse me, I'm gonna wipe this off real quick. There we go. So I don't want to just have water sitting in there. Obviously, I don't think it's gonna rust immediately, so that's not a problem. But that is what that is. And then the bigger part is, although we did mock up the turbo, so there it is. I did have it sitting in here, so I had everything mocked up. Downpipe is sitting right there, so that thing was in there as well. I had all the V-bands put on. I just wanted to mock it up to see what everything would look like. As you can see there, I got the external wastegate all plumbed up and ready to go, so that's pretty darn cool. That wasn't too bad. Thankfully, my buddy came over, so I will say the only thing that I absolutely can't stand is that V-band clamp right there that the head of the flashlight is pointing at. That is literally probably one of the hardest and most annoying parts of this whole car. Just holding the wastegate, making sure that plate, I don't even know what the part is called, but it goes between like the cup that seals not the diaphragm, but the little metal plate that seals the wastegate, and then there's like a little there's a dish type deal that also seats into the up pipe flange, and getting all that lined up and then getting the clamp on there is like the most difficult thing, as well as, and then getting the small little bolt and the nut onto the bolt while the clamp is holding on, probably, if not the hardest thing on this car to do. But that is that. So I had to rerun some lines here too and put some hose clamps on some things. This is also this is the oil return for the AOS system, or PVC. You know, pressure comes out through there and through the valve covers, and then the oil goes back into the system. But I'm missing the hose clamp that attaches the one hose to the block right there. And then I think that's about it. Other than that, it's ready to go. So once I'm able to make a run to AutoZone tomorrow morning and get those things, and then possibly some water, because I kind of want to clear it out. I think I mentioned it, but the car's been sitting so long, and I didn't have the radiator cap on the overflow tank, so it just kind of sat open. So I don't know how much dust is in there, and I don't want the dust floating through here. But everything else is pretty much set up, good to go. So once AutoZone opens and I'm able to get that stuff, I can't imagine that first startup is right around the corner. So go figure, another little slight delay just because I decided to get started a little bit late. Had some other things to do, but yeah, that's the update. So tomorrow there should be a turbo and hopefully a first start. But until then, y'all, catch you in the next update. Hey everybody. So I'm actually kind of nervous right now. So got like, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with this tool, and like I've said, this video is going to be long just because I'm probably talking about a lot of stuff that everybody already knows. However, this is what I use to now. Once I discovered it, it's what I will not ever go without when I'm filling up the cooling system. So that is amazing because it is the the highest point in the cooling system, so everything gets filled up. But most importantly, so not only filled with water, but I do have oil. I need to check the oil level again because I've got the crank sensor pulled, and I've also got the ignition fuse pulled. And I was nervous at first, but now not so much because I was getting nervous due to the fact that I didn't know how long it was going to take to build oil pressure. But I do know that the one of the little things that I've taken from YouTubers is to a cheat sheet or a cheat code to pull the oil drain line on the turbo, since and for me it's the highest point in the oil system. So um, I pulled the oil feed line, and I was getting nervous because I cranked it like 3 times for about 10 seconds each, which is what IAG recommends for their the oil system priming. And thankfully, everything sounds fantastic. So that's the good point. The nerve-wracking part was I wasn't seeing oil dripping out of there. However, hopefully it's not going to spray anything anywhere. But the cool thing is look at that, y'all. We have oil going up to the turbo, so we've clearly got some oil pressure, which that makes me feel good. So I'm going to be putting this oil away, as in throwing it out, and then putting more oil in it, making sure I'm absolutely 100% good on oil. I also the cranking it the first time also waited a little bit so that I could test the fluid level or the oil level, and it was a little bit down because the oil cooler takes about a quart. So now I need to add whatever the line for the turbo spit out, and then I'll be good to go. So first crank here in about 5 minutes once I get everything hooked back up and oil level good to go. Kind of nervous, but I am oh so looking forward to it. And then one thing I didn't talk about, but the air oil separator. So it does have a water line. It has a water supply, and something that I completely forgot about was, well, didn't forget about, but I had tightened or I put the drain hose onto the pipe that goes to the block. And after I filled it with water, I looked down and I noticed there was a drip drop coming down, just the smallest of bits. And I looked on the up pipe. I got terrified because I thought the head was leaking. Thankfully, it was just a slightly loose hose clamp on the hose that goes down to the water pipe for the from the AOS back into the block. So that is all cinched up. That pile has not grown, so we're good to go there. And I haven't checked the up pipe, but I'm pretty sure the up pipe is still dry. But here we go. Let me get everything hooked back up, and it is time for first start. clearly see, the orientation of the car has been turned around. So after the first start, I kind of took the car out into the road. I have a weird little cul-de-sac thing. Turned it around, pulled it right back in. I had to make sure the clutch actually worked because I've made the mistake before of putting the transmission side on the engine side, and clearly it's not going to work like that. So got that all done. I know it started, so clearly, the clutch switch is working, but I didn't know if it was going to engage and disengage the clutch. So I had to make sure that that was all good. Also moved the truck out of the way so that I have space in the driveway. But without further ado, y'all, I need to go put some miles on this engine, as well as just, get some data logs for the tuner so that adjustments that need to be made can be made. And this base tune can get ironed out just a little bit for these 800 miles that I need to go on. So until next time, y'all, thanks for watching and stay driven.